Hi, my name is Katie. I'm an occupational therapist at Big Blue Canopy. I just want to talk to you guys real quick about the importance of working with your kiddos on mastering their pre-writing strokes before moving on to handwriting. Our pre-writing strokes that include lines and shapes help build the foundation for our kids to then be able to put those lines and shapes together in order to make our letters. When we move too quickly to letter writing and don't master our pre-writing strokes, that's where we see a lot of our kids get frustrated. They resist having to work on handwriting. They start to struggle in preschool, kindergarten, first grade because they don't want to write because it's hard because they didn't master those underlying skills first. Our kids are being required to start handwriting even younger in preschool and have a lot of things mastered even before they get into kindergarten these days. So we really need to make sure we're focusing in on good foundational skills before we really push into and move on to handwriting. So what I wanted to review with you guys today is our pre-writing strokes. So these are the skills that we want to see our kids master before we move on to handwriting. So at about 2 years of age, you can see that kids should be able to do a line down or a vertical line. So you draw a line, they can imitate that and draw a line down. That skill usually should be mastered at 2. At about 2.5, you'll see that kids can start doing a line across or a horizontal line. Again, you can draw it, they can imitate it. We want them to at least be able to imitate these before we really move into handwriting. At 3 years of age, we're starting to see that definitive circle. Prior to 3, we're seeing more circle scribbles where maybe they go round and round and round, or they're having a hard time stopping to get that one definitive circle. So at 3, we're seeing they can get that one circle and then come to a stop. At about 3.5 or 4, we're seeing them start to put lines together. So we're getting that plus sign or that cross. They're able to go down and then across. When you're working on these skills with your kids, another really important thing to remember is we really want to reinforce the proper way to make our pre-writing strokes as well as our letters. So we want to make sure we're teaching our kids that you always go top to bottom and left to right. This helps to reinforce correct letter formation as well as our reading pattern. We read top to bottom, left to right. We want to reinforce that pattern with our kids as they're learning to draw and write their letters. At 4, we're seeing them be able to start putting those lines together into more complex shapes and seeing them be able to imitate a square. At 4.5, we start to see the diagonal lines going in both diagonal directions. And then by 5, they're starting to put those diagonals together to make an X. So ideally, we would really like to see them master all of their pre-writing strokes before really moving heavily into handwriting. But if you want to start introducing handwriting, you can introduce once they start getting to, they've got these straight lines, they've got the circle and the plus, they're maybe starting to get that square. You can start introducing straight line letters versus your diagonal letters. So if they haven't mastered imitating a diagonal line by itself, we're not really going to want to start working on letters like A, X, Y, Z. We want to kind of address those letters that have the straight line letters or the circle, like the O, Q, P. Those letters, Q does have a little bit of a diagonal line, so that one might be a little bit hard if they don't have those diagonals yet. But you want to introduce those more straight line letters, or maybe the letters that have some curve to them, the letter D, B, and not really address those diagonal letters until they can imitate those diagonal lines. So again, you want to try to move through these with your kids and then introduce the letters that they're developmentally able to do. And if you're working with your kids and you're finding that at these ages they're not doing these pre-writing strokes, then we would love to see you guys out at Big Blue Canopy so we can help give you guys some ideas and some strategies to maybe work on to help master these skills and to make sure that your kids are ready for preschool and kindergarten and first grade so they're not behind and they're not frustrated with their handwriting or struggling with handwriting skills. We also do have a video if you want to check out our YouTube channel that I did previously that lists all kinds of fun interactive ways to work on our pre-writing strokes and start working on letters using like shaving cream and rice and even doing some movement and gross motor activities to really help make the pre-writing strokes and the handwriting fun, because a lot of our kids, they don't like to sit still. They don't want to be still just drawing and writing letters. So it helps give us some more interactive and fun ways to work on these skills to really help our kids master them. Thanks. I hope you guys are all staying healthy. Have a great day.